Good morning, everyone. This is Jordan with Conquering Trading and Investing, and we're getting ready right now for today's live stream of the New York session. And it looks like we have a lot to cover. I'm going to start off and look at the calendar really first with you, because later this afternoon at 2 o'clock Eastern Time, we have the FOMC meeting minutes. And it looks like the market may or may not be front running that a little bit right now. What I expect is going to happen out of this meeting minutes is that we're going to get a little bit of confirmation that the Fed is on pause, that it does not foresee any rate cuts in the near future. And this might be, seems to me that would be a dollar bullish. We'll see if that's what transpires, but that's what looks like is taking place this morning. We are seeing some strength turning now into the US dollar. I'm going to start this off looking at gold only because it is at an entry point right now. And in case anyone this morning is looking to get into that, we could start it off with that. All right, so here's what we're looking at. We're looking at gold on the daily time frame right now. And you can see what's happened is we have this long candle wick this morning, and that candle went right into our resistance line and has since come off and is trading at or near the lows. So it's really, really easy to see. The trade is that we're hitting onto our resistance and coming back. Let's look on the 8-hour. And you can see here, you have this textbook entry right here where price is trading right now, where you had the resistance hit, and then you have price making a lower low than the previous bar with the entry CCI pulled back up at the time, and the true trend negative in the downtrend. So that looks like a nice entry right there. We're also going to look over next at the euro US dollar. Just want to wish everyone I just want to say good morning to everyone, whether you're watching this live or the replay. Looking forward to this session with you. Each day I look forward to sharing this with you. Want to take a look at the news real quick. And I think I have the Japanese yen is the strongest and the Canadian dollar is the weakest as we enter this session right here. And there was really nothing else except for the fact that things are not working. The market is so driven by the US-China trade tensions. I'm releasing a video on that later today. I hope you find that interesting. It was really fun preparing and putting together. Let's take a look at the euro US dollar. All right, we had an entry here overnight. I'm going to look at this right now with you. You can see that today, finally, after this breakdown here, we caught this move over here all the way down, taking profits over here. And now price has been since on this nice little bit of a reverse trend move. And now price finally has led us into an entry. Let's take a look at what that looks like. We were following this yesterday in the live session. And what we were waiting for was price to finally make a lower low while we had trade criteria. And we were up near this resistance area. Price triggered over here. The entry is up here at about 1.1072. The thing is since right now we are trading kind of right near the support level, you can see the support, you see resistance broken, became support, broken, resistance, support, and we're kind of sitting there right now. What do you do? Well, I'm keeping my stop where it originally is, all the way here above this resistance line right now. And I'm giving this trade room to breathe. We're going to see what happens now during the New York session, specifically after the FOMC meeting minutes are released. And hopefully this trade continues to go, blow past this little bit of support right here. And then we'll be looking down here as our first area of possible take profit and see how price reacts. If price does break through, you can see over here, you have my cursor in there, my crosshairs. You see that line over there? If price is able to push through there, or right around there, we'll reassess. At that point, we might look to move my stop to break even. That's what I'm looking at for right now. So right now the trade gets room to breathe. The original stop loss is in effect. I'm going to give the trade, wait how it reacts around this point at 1.1044. And then there assess of possibly moving my stop to break even. Or just seeing what's happening right there. Let's see what else is happening this morning. We have the US dollar. This is important. We have the US dollar, Japanese yen. We are seeing yen strength. We're also seeing with that yen strength, you are seeing the US dollar, Japanese yen trading above towards the top half of the range, although right around or a bit below its opening candle. Okay. So we have a lot of indecision going on here, but it's very close to our lower bound of this rising wedge we have here. And a close outside of that wedge is going to have us looking to the short side. Now, I still have my stop in below this candle over here. I'm going to look on the 8-hour with you. I am long. I'm playing the long off of the support of this rising wedge, because until it breaks, I'm respecting it. And my stop is right over here at the low, right below this price bar at about 108.18, 108.2, right around there. And I'm keeping that in. If we make a lower low over here, if we take out today's low, most likely we're going to take out this low as well. That's about a 15, that's about a 10 pip difference. There is the possibility of moving my stop up higher. If we break up higher here and start making new highs in the day, then I definitely will do that. Right now, I'm keeping it in. If this stop is taken out, two things are happening. I'm wrong on the trade, and most likely we're resuming down outside of this rising wedge, and it's a breakdown of the pattern. And although I won't take the breakdown, I will begin looking for shorts thereafter. But right now, I'm just holding my long. I'm keeping my original stop loss in. I'm respecting the trade. Now, it's not so black and white. I have this trend line in for the lower support line of the rising wedge. But, you know, I don't know how that could be drawn in a little bit better. The fact that I'm a tiny bit below the wedge right here doesn't mean anything. First of all, I need the close below it, and I would have to look how that's drawn in before really trying to play it like that. At this moment, I like respecting my stop down here and knowing that if that's hit, then I'm wrong on the trade. And if not, I'm going to see how the trade develops according to my original setup and thesis. Jeff, you're saying my connection keeps going in and out? I know that YouTube is having issues this morning. YouTube is having some issues on the back end this morning. All their data is messed up. That could be affecting the live stream. Guys, let me know in the comments whether or not we should keep going, or if it gets if it's cutting in and out to the effect where it doesn't make this feasible for us to continue together. You have to let me know. I don't know how it sounds on your end. Okay, this looks interesting. We're going to dig in deep here on the US dollar, Canadian dollar. And we know that because the Canadian dollar is the weakest going into this session. We see that we're right in our area of looking to sell this because we have this overhead strong resistance up here. Let's take a look what's going on. All right. So you could see that we had this trend line, which I believe this was on Friday, was broken. Price came to the support we drew in here and has since bounced back up and tested this trend line over here. So this was a beautiful trade, and it wasn't even on my radar. That's a dropping the ball on my part. I don't know why. I think that I had this unfortunate preconceived notion that I was waiting for price to get below the support line to look for selling. Meanwhile, the trend was up. Price bounced off this support and it had a lot of room. We did look at that on Friday. We said if it did resume the trend on the live stream on Friday, that we had all the way up here for our take profit. And look at that trade. And you could see off the support line, we like taking trades off of support and resistance. You had the entry CCI pulled back down and the true trend up. And since price just hit a home run. So I'm a little bit disappointed that I wasn't watching that wasn't on my radar. But it's a beautiful trade. It's important to reassess the ones you miss. And what else could we learn from it right now? Well, I'm not doing anything. I'm waiting for those FOMC meeting minutes to come out now. I'm not going to definitely chase price to the upside. And we'll see what happens over here. If we could break above this blue box, this resistance up here, at that point, waiting for pullbacks, and we have a lot of room to the upside. I expect that the bulls have control. But around here, if price rolls over against this resistance up here, you can see over here, it wasn't, I hit the resistance and bounced down. You had a week here of testing up against this resistance until price rolled over. We're going to see what happens around here and we'll look to play short off it. If we break above it, we'll look for longs. But this was a poor play on my part, not seeing this develop and watching it. Okay, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Raj. Jeff, welcome everybody. Let's keep moving to the we're about 17 minutes away from the open in New York. So I expect we're going to see a little bit of price movements come off their trends going into the morning at this point. What's happening? Let's look at the euro, Japanese yen. We are seeing yen strength this during London today. We're seeing that come off a little bit right now. I am long this pair since yesterday. I'm still holding that long. And I have my stop all the way down below here. My stop loss is around 119.18. Again, if my stop is violated, we're getting close to breaking this trend line. I have these two supports right here. I'm definitely wrong if that happens, but as of right now, I am holding this long. We are still holding this support area right here, this buy zone, and we're going to see what happens today. I have no idea how this is going to work out. Obviously, the trade didn't go immediately in my favor. My entry was right here and has since been going against it. So that's not fun, but I'm not going to move my stop at this point. I'm just going to let the trade work out to my original trade setup. Tim, that's a good question. Tim's asking if I look for confluence in other time frames. So my approach is I look first at the daily time frame. I look for support and resistance levels for channels and triangles, and that's what I'm trading around. And then I drop down to the 8-hour time frame. Okay. Now, here's the thing about that. I like trading off the 8-hour time frame. I think it's the best time frame to trade off of, if not the 12-hour. I do not like trading off the 4-hour, the 1 hour. But here's the thing: if you're trading off of support and resistance, I like the 8-hour for the fact that it filters out a lot of false noise and price fluctuations and false signals. Trading on the 4-hour, on the 1 hour, you get a lot of those, right? But here's the thing: the support and resistance is the same on the 8-hour as it is on the 4-hour, as it is on the 1 hour. It's all the same, right? So again, and that comes from the daily time frame. That comes from the bigger time frame. That's how I approach it. You have to develop a strategy that, first of all, gives you an edge. Second of all, that is proven through through going ahead and looking at it, see how things worked out in the past. Then you have to forward test it, and then you have to be able to stick to it. You have to find the strategy that you're able to stick to, which means taking all signals that it offers for that fit your criteria. It's hard to trade on lower time frames. It could work for some people. I think that from my understanding, most people have, from my experience, more success off the higher time frames. Yeah, it's in this blue. Jeff, what pair are you talking about? And this right here, by the way, anyone who did not take this entry up here is looking to still trade the US dollar, Japanese yen. We might have just made a higher high. No, not yet. I'm going to pause for 1 second. Excuse me. All right, back. Sorry about that. You can see on the US dollar, Japanese yen, that we are getting close here to possibly making a higher high than the previous price bar. This would be an opportunity to get back in that trade at a better price than the first signal. And as well as you'd be looking probably at the same stop or even this one here, but that looks like a nice opportunity this morning and a better one than I took. Let's see what else we have going on. Australian dollar, US dollar. This looks like it's resuming downwards. It's stuck at the support. You could see right here, this was resistance. We got this resistance, support, and we're kind of stuck at that area right now. I want to see what that looks like. Yep. Could have took that signal from up here. I'm not doing. I also see this nice little pattern playing out right here. This is nice. You got this little bit of a bear flag. So this could actually be very nice, a breakdown of here. You have this break of the trend line support, of the channel line, and that set off a bear move. And now we have this bear flag right here. So let's see how price reacts around here. But if the trend starts resuming downwards, and again, it would be breaking this support and this breaking out of this bear flag right here. This could be a very nice trade. So that's one actually to even continue watching throughout this session. See what happens. The pound, US dollar. Let's see. So far, you could see on the daily time frame, looking at this, taking a step back, is that we are coming back down and we're looking to test this area of the breakout to see if this resistance is going to hold, see if that support is going to hold. And, you know, again, this is looking like it could be not much, right? Much better entry down here if price makes a higher high here. The one part that I have to caution here is that the US dollar is showing a little bit of strength this morning, and I'm not sure what's going to happen out of the FOMC later, if that's going to give the dollar even more of a push. So this is a bit iffy. I am in this trade and I'm holding it, and it's kind of a hedge right now versus my euro US dollar short, right? Because I'm long the pound US dollar. They're giving conflicting signals, and I'm short the euro US dollar, right? So those are kind of both offering a hedge to each other. And I took both trades technically as they developed, each on their own individual currency pair. They are both versus the US dollar and conflicting, but I have the pound in an uptrend and I have the euro US dollar in a downtrend, and that's how I took them. So, and being that my trades do have favorable risk to reward ratios, you know, I very well could get stopped out on one and the profit on the other will make up for that loss plus. So I just took the trades how they happened on the charts per the pair, but I am pointing out they are conflicting. Also here, so it's what I am seeing across the board though. I know that we had going into the New York session, you know, the yen was the strongest pair, and it's since coming off, right? We are seeing yen weakness now across the board over these past few hours. I am in this trade long. Price is now resuming back up. I took the signal up here off the breakout, the first pullback. I had entry criteria, price resumed, I took it. My stop is down here. My stop is, you see the last penetration to the downside of the entry CCI. My stop is below that at 139.30. And right here, it's offering a possible re-entry, better than my entry. But again, this is, you know, I don't like it when a trade initially goes against me. I like it when it falls into profit immediately. For example, the euro US dollar trade that I was taking earlier today, you know, since the entry price has been falling in my favor. I prefer that, but it is what it is, right? This is trading. Sorry about that, Jeff. Jeff, maybe what's even best is for you to click back on the live stream and see if you're watching it maybe 5 minutes behind, whether or not you're not lagging in real time as you are right now. Again, I know YouTube is having problems this morning. They're having problem on their back end, and it quite possibly could be affecting the live stream. You know, I know that when we started this 2 weeks ago, we only had, you know, a half dozen people in here. But it seems to me this morning we have about half the amount of people that we normally do since, you know, going on this past week. And that could possibly be because of just the quality of the live stream. I'm not sure. I'm hoping that the replay sounds nice and people could follow. A lot of people are commenting and sending feedback that they are watching the replay and they really enjoy it. So hopefully that works out. Just for future reference in our mind, just kind of marking in mind, if we get a breakdown here, then at that point we begin looking for shorts here on the euro US dollar, on the euro Australian dollar. This is kind of in no man's land, right? We're still within this congestion area and price is not really doing anything. So I'm just going to move along because there are a lot of things going on in a lot of different places. I'm still the same here. Nothing going on that's offering any type of edge, in my opinion. And here as well, I think the uncertainty on the Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen pairs is because the market's really unsure what's going to happen, whether or not we're going to get any type of phase one resolution out of the US-China trade deal within the next few weeks. And, you know, I think there's a lot of uncertainty there. I think once we find out one way or another, positive or negative, then these pairs will have some movement in them as well. In the meantime, they seem to be consolidating for a big move. But right now, they're not where the play is. So we have gold this morning. Let's just retrace a little bit. We have gold offering a nice short this morning. I took a small position here, very small position. And when we started the live stream, it was right at the entry price, right up there, about 1471.38, I believe was mine. So now we're just a couple of dollars into the trade, but the stop is right above this price bar right up here that penetrated the resistance, right? Because if price resumes upward and takes out that high again, I'm just wrong on the trade right away. You have this nice resistance right there. So that's a nice, really tight stop. And there's a lot of room to look for a profit into this trade. I have this green line of support in here. That's going to be just the first area I reassess to see how price reacts around it, and I'll let it go from there. We have the Euro US dollar trade, the short entered over here, the stop I have above my resistance up here. I'm keeping that in right now. We're going to see what happens today at 2 o'clock Eastern time after the FOMC. That's going to be, I'm sure, an event that will trigger the next move in the markets, which will probably continue through Thursday. We have Thursday night, Friday morning in Europe. We have German flash manufacturing PMI, and we have also, I'm sorry, I thought this was France. So this was changed. Oh, here we go. We got flash services PMI out of France, and then you have German services and manufacturing being the big one here, out of Germany. That's going to definitely be a big market event, I believe. And then also the next morning, a couple hours later, you have manufacturing PMI out of the US. So I think whatever happens today, we're going to see a little bit of continuation through tomorrow evening, and then we'll see where the market takes us after that. Always looking ahead and planning ahead. We have the US dollar, Japanese yen, which is now lifting back up into that channel. Again, there's not room for me to breathe here yet. I got into this trade, and since I got into it up here at 108.72, price has been moving against me. I'm about 14 pips to the downside on it right now, but it looks like I might be regaining this channel right here. See what happens. The US dollar is showing some strength this morning, and that could possibly continue after the release of the FOMC later today. Similarly, on the Euro Japanese yen, I didn't get the good entry. And again, if you are waiting on this one, you still are waiting, right? Because, you know, the Japanese yen is showing a little bit of weakness since, but is not made high than the previous price bar. For anyone looking to re-enter that trade, they have not had an opportunity yet, and it will be once they regain this little bit of overhead resistance. I believe we looked at it yesterday, even up here at 120.38. So today, it looks like the US dollar Japanese yen offers a better opportunity than the Euro Japanese yen, only because you could have a stop all the way here at 108.31, an entry right up over here. So you have a 30 pip stop loss. You know you're wrong. If you're wrong, that could be a good trade here. And then we have the pound US dollar, again, offering a possible entry here. You have the breakout. You have price coming down to test that breakout. It stalled over here at this support, and now is resuming upwards. Again, this trade is offering a conflicting signal than my Euro US dollar short, but this isn't an uptrend and this isn't a downtrend. So I took them both, and we'll see what happens. If anyone is looking at anything this morning or has any questions, please let us know in the comments. We'll take a look at what it is you're looking at. Are we seeing possibly oil break down out of this channel? Looks like it might be. That could be an interesting trade. Just for the fun of it, we'll watch how that develops. I think you might even see this. I don't know. We'll just watch it. I'm not trading it. Gold seems to be right now trending downly nice this morning off of that resistance, trading at its lows for the session. Like that. Hopefully that continues. If the FOMC definitely is clear that they're not looking for any near-term rate cuts or future rate cuts, they might even word it, that is definitely going to probably see gold trade down on that news. It does need those rate cuts to keep going up from a bigger picture. That might be what's spurring this US dollar strength this morning, the FOMC on the docket for later today. So right now we're just, we did have the entry. I took a small position. We talked about it as we entered the live stream today on a short gold this morning off the entry over here. It is a very small position. I entered a nice euro US dollar short that we all were looking for going into the session over here at 1.107.2 or 1. And, that's falling into profit right now a little bit. So that's nice. And I'm managing my pound US dollar, my pound Japanese yen, my US dollar, a lot of trades, US dollar, Japanese yen, and euro Japanese yen trades. So that's all that's happening right now. There's actually a lot going on. If anyone is not clear on anything, has any questions or any alternative views, that would be fantastic. Please do let us know. Well, I look at the daily here, like we'll start here on gold since it's the chart that's up. And so to determine what's going on, I look at the daily time frame. You're able to spot with your eyes, right? If the trend is up or down. We do use the true trend as a guide. You're right. But you could see right here, first, when you're looking at this, you see prices been coming off, right? But you see this break of this channel over here. And once the channel broke, this became bearish. And you can see that did coincide right here. The break coincided with the true trend trading negative. All right. So if you look in here, once we saw this break, and then we saw the resistance of the break tested, the broken support became resistance, and then price resumed down. This was the opportunity for us to begin getting short, and then we dropped down to the 8-hour time frame. All right. Here's the break, the test of resistance, and then price came down. This right over here on this break. This is the best entry. I didn't get it. This would have been the best entry to take right up there, but I didn't get it. But what I did is I got this entry over here, right? No, I did. I apologize. This is definitely going back now a couple of weeks. Yeah, I did get this entry. I didn't think I got it. I had a resting sell limit order and I took that entry, but you had other opportunities right here. You had these pullbacks to take. And then right now we're taking another entry because price came all the way back up here. This was valid entries over here. But over here today, we had another test of this resistance and I took this one. So we're basically looking from a top-down approach. Let's show you on the euro US dollar. On the euro US dollar, same thing. Before this happened, let me take it off the chart. All right, we were looking over here. So what are we seeing over here? We're seeing prices in an uptrend, and we had this trend line drawn in for this channel. We were looking for longs, but we did note if this trend line breaks, we're going to change and look for shorts, right? And sure enough, that's what happened. We dropped down to the 8-hour. Right? Again, same thing as you happened on gold. You had the break down. Look at that. You had the break of the channel and then the retest. And then the best entry is right over here once you make the lower low. I did not get that because they're right down here. I had the true trend still up and I didn't want to take it. I took this first trade over here as the entry CCI pulled back against the true trend and came back down. So I'm always looking at the daily time frame. I'm looking what's happening right here on the Euro US dollar on the daily time frame. We have this resistance right up here, right? It goes from here. That's tight. We have it up here, right? So I'm trading with, this is my stop loss. If price gets above this, I will be looking for longs. You're going to see probably the true trend will be positive at that point. We'll actually on a break be coming out of the first pullback. But I don't trade the true trend on the daily. I trade that on the 8-hour, right? I look without the true trend on the daily, look what's going on. And then I drop down and I look for precision setups. Jeff, sorry about the connection today. Have a great day. Hope to catch you tomorrow. Rick, I assess the markets every morning during this time. So it's once in a 24-hour period that I really drill down into the markets. I'm trading basically off the 8-hour time frame, which offers 3 signal periods a day. What happens again is, late in the evening, which is during the Asian session, I'm also looking to see if I'm placing any orders for during the London session. So for example, again, I do my assessing during the New York session, but I entered this trade over here while asleep during the London session on the Euro US dollar last night. Okay. So by trading the 8-hour time frame, you're able to trade 24 hours a day. That's why I trade it, because you have to be able to trade a strategy that fits your lifestyle and that gives you the ability to best utilize it. That's the 8-hour time frame. Now, I do my assessing, I do my review right here. You could watch a replay of this live stream at any point during the day and still be on par, right? You don't necessarily need to be watching it live in order to get the value from it, because you could watch this even later in the day during the Asian Open and still are going to understand what's going on in the market and being able to trade accordingly to it. I tend not to take too many trades during the Asian session. My experience is that entry signals during the Asian session are no good, right? There's no follow through, there's no volume, there's no momentum, and there are a lot of false signals. So I'm looking for entries during London and New York. So this is a reversal that's turning out nicely right now. So I'm thankful for that. Same here on the Euro Japanese yen. Ever since we had the open of the New York stock exchange out of the U.S. equities, that might mean also the pound is resuming backwards, and it's just bad news bears for the Euro US dollar in this moment. We'll see what happens. Try to do this. I do want to take a second here and take a look at this very easy and profitable straight-in strategy. I know that we had a zero line cross about a week ago on the pound US dollar, and I do have the pound rolling over a little bit. I want to see how close I am to getting a signal to the downside. You can see that it's still holding up well. I don't have to be looking for a signal to the downside yet. It'll actually be if my stop is taken out on my on this trade over here I have on the 8-hour, that this will be rolling over and I'll have to look for that zero line cross. If you're not currently familiar with this strategy, the very easy and profitable trading strategy, perfect for those who trade a full-time job, I highly recommend taking a look at it. It is not only it's a great way to understand what a workable functioning trading system looks like, and will help you trading on all other time frames and any other strategy you trade as well. They have down here, for those who are not familiar with the true trend, this video on how the true trend works. It's a tutorial, about a 10-minute tutorial explaining everything about how we're looking for trades, how the entry CCI and the trend CCI work. Thank you all this morning, gone ahead and shared some love, helping the YouTube algorithm go ahead and get this video seen by others. We are starting to see the community grow. It's been about 2 weeks since we've been live streaming every day. We will continue that. It's actually an enormous benefit to myself. And I know from the feedback I receive, others are definitely enjoying it. So we will continue with that. So what's going to happen? Well, we have, what time is it right now? It's about 9:40 in New York. We're going to have about the next hour and 20 minutes is still going to be pretty nice trading. And then we're going to see a lull going into the 2 o'clock Eastern time at the FOMC. We're seeing a lot of back and forth. You can see the direction that was taken earlier in the day during London has since been reversed. And that is probably because the market has the FOMC meeting minutes hanging over its head later today. Traders want to know that there's no surprises out of that, so that they could go ahead and stick with positions. Now, I'm interested, to look at silver. And the reason I say that is because usually on the way up in a bull market in precious metals, silver leads, which it did in this move up here. And then on the way down, silver also leads. So I'm interested to see what's going on with silver. And you could see the move, the pullback has been a little bit steeper, but it's basing out here pretty well, right? Unless silver broke below this support down here. Let me draw that in because that's a nice reference to go back to later. Unless silver takes out that 16.61 level, you have, is it a buying opportunity down here long term? I don't know. It's possible. It's also possible that it's kind of interesting because you see gold breaking down a little bit. No, it's a tough one. Sometimes you're looking at the chart and what's happening technically, and then you kind of know what's going on fundamentally, and you could have conflicting signals. And if the US is going to pause their rate cut cycle, there could be a lot more downside to silver. And I have to be honest, a long-term entry down here at this next support down at 16.13 area would be a lot more attractive. So I'm just kind of, right now there's a bit of a quiet time, and I'm just kind of, taking the bigger picture approach. I don't trade in and out of silver at all, but I would take a long-term position in silver, but it would be down here. It would be down further, and then when we saw it reversing upwards again. Bitcoin is looking a little bit messy. Let's look in a lower time frame. It is just clinging right now to this support area. I thought if it broke the support up here at 8,300 area, that it was going to fall pretty quickly down to 7,800, but it seems to be clinging to this area right here. I don't know. I think 7,800 is a possibility still. a break below that would be bad news bears. But probably the best thing I see going on in Bitcoin right now is that everyone is super, super bearish and fearful right now. Take a look at Forex Live, see what is going on. That's probably it. You could tell it's really slow if I'm looking at news, but that's what's happening right now. Not much is happening right now. If anyone has any questions in general that's here, this is a good time for me to be able to spend some one-on-one time with you. That is what I like about trading, doing the top-down approach from the daily time frame and then focusing on the 8-hour. It allows you to trade all sessions. Again, the Asian session definitely provides many false signals, and I highly recommend staying away from it. I think the euro is all the way back up now to my sell entry. Yep. Euro has since, I went ahead and I had this downtrend still happening here, and then price was really, really stretched out against the trend. My entry was right up here at 1.1072 when price started making a lower low, tested up towards this resistance area. My stop is right above it, and then price was trading really nice off the entry and has since peeled back and is now trading back up at the entry. So that's an opportunity if someone's looking to take that trade. Or what you could do is now you could wait, and you can wait for price to show that it's resuming downwards once again. But I'm back at the entry that I took overnight during London. I'm keeping this trade open. I'm respecting my initial stop here above this resistance, because if that gets taken out, not only am I wrong, then I'll really be looking for longs, as well as I do have this trade hedged here on the pound US dollar. And again, I took the signals on each pair. This is showing a buy signal on the breakout, the pullback, and then the resumption. I got the entry up here. There's another entry right here right now. And my stop is down here, right? This trend, the breakout trend line would need to be broken for me to go ahead and exit that trade. And it's kind of a hedge versus the euro US dollar right now. So this is this bear flag that I drew in, and I want to go ahead and draw that in nicer. This is something to watch going forward. So what you see here is you see the breakdown, right? Price coming off. And now we're in this little, what looks to me to be a bear flag. If we break down out of it, that's a nice short, because that's a continuation. This is a continuation pattern, if it is indeed a bear flag out of this move, it would be a nice short. I'll be watching this pattern and I'll be looking to play a breakdown of that for sure. If we do get up closer here to this resistance, this trend line resistance, and then you have this upper channel, which is also providing resistance, that's also a nice place to look for an entry, right? Because if you're getting an entry somewhere up here, right around here, you know you're wrong. If price, the risk is really defined well and tight, and then you have a play to the downside. If price tests the lower support, you could take a little bit off. And then if you break down, you're sweet. So that might be it going in to the FOMC later today. It's still very early in the session. It's only a half hour into the opening of US equities. The market in this moment is eerily quiet. I'm definitely grateful that most of these trades are reversing themselves. What I do want to go ahead and prepare today is a nice tutorial on how to set up these 8-hour charts on MetaTrader, because I obviously I'm always looking at TradingView, but I'm also trading off of MetaTrader, and I have my 8-hour chart set up there. So I'm going to go ahead and just put together a nice tutorial on how to do that, to have that as a reference point, so we could go ahead and throw that in the description, which will be a useful place for people to go ahead and be able to set that up. Nice, Raj, too. Yeah, I use a special indicator for that. I noticed some platforms had this script for using to create custom timeframes, but it would get stuck every time you close MetaTrader. It wouldn't work. I have this neat little indicator I'll include in the video that's called a period converter. I don't know where I found it. I don't know who shared it with me, but it works fantastic. So I'll go ahead and throw that up in there. MetaTrader 4 is amazing. It's so old, that platform is, how old is that? It must be like, it seems like it's probably like, I don't know, almost 20 years old, maybe. Is that possible? Uh, Either which way, it's amazing. And it doesn't work well in for so many things, but yet it works fantastic. Now, I do wish more Forex brokers would include trading directly off of TradingView. That would be nice. Although I love the advantages of the expert advisors that MetaTrader offers. Yeah, the tutorial should be pretty short. I assume somewhere, around 5 minutes. And I'm just going to walk through beginning to end, how to take the indicator, how to take the indicator, where to install it, in which folder, a MetaTrader 4, and then how to place it on charts. And then from placing on the chart, how to go ahead and open up that custom time frame. It's really simple, but if you walk through doing it in the correct order, is the best way. Once you learn how to do it, it will take you literally just a couple of minutes to go ahead and set up whatever charts for whatever time frame you need. And again, I'm definitely going ahead and I'll prepare that tutorial today, and it'll be shared with you tomorrow for sure. I don't think I'm going to upload it today though, even though I'll shoot it today. And the reason for that is I have a video out on the meeting between President Trump and Fed Chairman Powell, who met a few days ago in Trump's personal quarters. And then I'm going to get into, in that video, what's developing with China and the US, and how China is de-dollarizing, how they are actually diversifying out of the dollar, how other countries are diversifying into the euro and Japanese yen. Just some stuff that I'm interested in, that I think is really important for a larger perspective of what's going on in the markets, and want to share with you. And because I'm releasing that today, I will release the tutorial tomorrow. Exactly. So the true trend that I share with you for the download has the 333 settings, which is used for this strategy right here. And all you need to do is go into inputs, the indicator properties inputs, and put in the trend CCI of 70 and the entry CCI of 3. All right, you can see over here, the 3 and 70. This is the entry CCI of 3 period and the trend CCI of 70 period. It's good move. That's exactly what you want to do. Interesting that we've seen a complete reversal in both the US dollar and yen since New York started. So that leads, I'm wondering aloud, why are we seeing this risk off? Is that has something to do with a headline? China's economic slowdown may cause it to strike a trade deal soon. I mean, I don't think that's what's causing it, but maybe, right? It's interesting because both China and the US kind of need to. China's economy is in a very precarious place. It's really bad. They're looking for some type of relief, but they don't want to strike a deal. And then the United States, definitely the aggressor in all this, doesn't want to strike a deal, but Trump has a re-election to worry about. So he needs to make sure the economy's okay. I'm reading your comments right now, Raj. I want to go back and be able to read them in front of you. I'm reading your comments right now, Raj. I want to go back and be able to read them in front of you. So reading your comments right now, Raj,
you're saying on the MetaTrader 4 that you like
able
the
to
alerts,
read them in front of
that
you.
you get zero line cross alerts. You can.
So reading your comments right now, Raj,
you're saying on the MetaTrader 4 that you like
able
the
to read them in
alerts,
front of you.
you get zero line cross
so that
alerts.
they receive an alert on your phone.
You
Also,
can.
it's possible to do. So reading your comments right now, Raj,
you're saying on the MetaTrader 4 that you like the
able to read them in
alerts,
front of you.
you get zero line cross
so that
alerts.
they receive an alert on your phone.
You
Also,
can.
it's possible to do.
So
reading your comments right now,
you're
Raj,
saying on the MetaTrader 4 that you like
able
the
to read them in
alerts,
front of you.
you get zero line cross
so that they
alerts.
receive an alert on your phone.
You
Also,
can.
it's possible to do.
So
reading your comments right now,
you're
Raj,
saying on the MetaTrader 4 that you like
able
the
to read them in front of
alerts,
you.
you get zero line cross
so that they
alerts.
receive an alert on your phone.
You
Also,
can.
it's possible to do. reading your comments right now,
you're
Raj,
saying on the MetaTrader 4 that you like
able
the
to read them in front of
alerts,
you.
you get zero line cross
so that they
alerts.
receive an alert on your phone.
You
Also,
can.
it's possible to do. reading your comments right now,
you're saying on the MetaTrader 4 that you like
able
the
to read them in front of
alerts,
you.
you get zero line cross
so that they
alerts.
receive an alert on your phone.
You
Also,
can.
it's possible to do. reading your comments right now,
you're saying on the MetaTrader 4 that you like the
read them in front of
alerts,
you.
you get zero line cross
so that they
alerts.
receive an alert on your phone.
You
Also,
can.
reading your comments right now,
you're saying on the MetaTrader 4 that you like the
read them in front of
alerts,
you.
you get zero line cross
so that they
alerts.
receive an alert on your phone.
You
Also,
can.
reading your comments right now,
you're saying on the MetaTrader 4 that you like the
read them in front of
alerts, you
you.
get zero line cross
so that they
alerts.
receive an alert on your phone.
You
Also,
can.
reading your comments right now,
you're saying on the MetaTrader 4 that you like the
read them in front of
alerts, you
you.
get zero line cross
so that they
alerts.
receive an alert on your phone.
You
Also,
can.
reading your comments right now,
you're saying on the MetaTrader 4 that you like the
read them in front of
alerts,
you.
you get zero line cross
so that they
alerts.
receive an alert on your phone.
You
Also,
can. you're saying on the MetaTrader 4 that you like the alerts, you get zero line cross alerts. You can. you're saying on the MetaTrader 4 that you like the alerts, you get zero line cross alerts. You can. you're saying on the MetaTrader 4 that you like the alerts, you get zero line cross alerts. You can. you're saying on the MetaTrader 4 that you like the alerts, you get zero line cross alerts. You can. you're saying on the MetaTrader 4 that you like the alerts, you get zero line cross alerts. You can. you're saying on the MetaTrader 4 that you like the alerts, you get zero line cross alerts. You can. you're saying on the MetaTrader 4 that you like the alerts, you get zero line cross alerts. You can. you're saying on the MetaTrader 4 that you like the alerts, you get zero line cross alerts. You can. you're saying on the MetaTrader 4 that you like the alerts, you get zero line cross alerts.
This was the problem, Raj. Thank you for that. I'm sorry I didn't get that sooner. If I have this live stream pulled up so I could read your comments and I don't turn off the volume, it puts in an echo. Sorry about that. And thanks for letting me know so I could fix that. Too bad that I was going over something I'm really passionate about as that was happening. So you guys didn't get to hear that well. All right, let's see this. Right, it does appear we're going to be pretty quiet the next 4 hours. We have the FOMC meeting minutes at 2 o'clock Eastern time, and the market is probably squared up right now, looking to what happens next. It is interesting to see that we have a bit of risk off so far these last couple of hours in New York, where we're seeing moves on the US dollar and yen reversing. Yeah, so I had that period where I unfortunately had that echo reverberating and messed up the live stream. And the first thing I was talking about was the alerts are fantastic on the true trend indicator on MetaTrader 4, specifically for this strategy, which trades all zero line crosses, right? And it is possible to set those alerts up through MetaTrader 4 so that they're sent to your phone. It's been a long time since I've done that, but it's, some quick Googling could go ahead and, solve that problem. And if anyone does go ahead and set up those alerts on the SMS, please go ahead and send me the instructions just so that I could provide it to others. Of course, you could set alerts also on TradingView, but the alerts on MetaTrader 4 are really nice. I was then got into the fact of what a fantastic indicator the true trend is. It does work fantastic on currency pairs. It also works on all indices. You could trade, the S&P with this. You could trade the DAX. You could trade, obviously commodities. It across the board is fantastic. And obviously, I love it for trading Bitcoin using the true trend 333 period on 12-hour time frame. I think this is just, if people had the patience and had a small position or a large position in Bitcoin and use this indicator to stay on the right side of the trend, or this is a money maker and will be over the next decade, the way to trade Bitcoin. And if you have the time, I mean, first go ahead and watch the video we have on this which is the beginner's trading strategy for Bitcoin, and it uses the true trend BTC 333 period. And if you just go ahead and pull up a 12-hour chart, put on the indicator. And again, if you don't have the 12-hour chart on TradingView, I'm going to tomorrow show you how to do that on MetaTrader, so you're able to do that. And just look, you didn't have to take many trades over the past 3 years, right? A handful of trades you would have took, and each time you would have been on the right side of the market. Look at that. And it's because of Bitcoin, and this was the genius of Satoshi. When he created it, he put in these 4-year cycles that creates these boom and bust periods. And the boom periods create adoption and awareness. And in the bust cycles, people really build out on the platform, on the blockchain. So it's a really, I love the true trend as well. Gold has traded back up to my entry since I took it this morning. So, and also the Euro US dollar, when I took that entry over in London, we were looking at that one yesterday together during this live stream. And you can see here, I took at the beginning of this live stream, this short right here on gold as this price bar. Let me zoom in for you. Price traded all the way up to this resistance right here. It was rejected and then made a lower low than the previous 8-hour price bar. And I took that as my entry, and I still have it in. My stop is right here. We're back at entry right now. My stop is right above this price bar, because if price does go ahead and take this out, most likely I'm wrong on the trade. Probably the bulls will hold this resistance level and it should become support. And the true trend will be turning over to the positive side. We'll be looking for longs because we have some nice room. We have about $30 here to the upside, $35 to the upside. But right now, this is the inflection point. We're at resistance. We've rejected off the resistance and we're making lower lows. So I'm short. Although again, I love it when I take a trade like I took earlier on the Euro US dollar, and it falls into profit and stays in the profit. I've also took an entry right here, similarly off resistance, and price is now back up at my entry. Adversely, the other pairs that I was, negative have since come back. The US dollar, Japanese yen, euro, Japanese yen, pound US dollar still lagging. There's a re-entry right here for people. You could see that we had the breakout, the pullback. I took the entry all the way up here on the first resumption. And now there's another opportunity right here. It looks a lot healthier, a lot better as price is bouncing off that support. I don't know what's going to happen later today. I don't know if the market's going to react to the FOMC meeting minutes or not, and whether or not that's going to firm up the dollar. I have no idea. That's why I'm just taking the signals as they come. This is something I'm definitely watching. I want to just keep reminding myself later today, if we get a breakdown here out of this what looks like to be a bear flag, you can see the bear flag developing. If we get a breakdown out of here, that looks like a nice trade to the downside that I want to be involved in. So I am watching that. I'm actually gonna, well, I'm waiting. I'm trying to figure out what my plan will be. I have to kind of, I can't place any automated orders here. I need to wait on this and see what happens. Raj, that's awesome. I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste that information that you're sharing right now, and so that it could be held as a reference for others. I do plan on putting together some type of page for us where people could go ahead and follow the live trades that I'm taking. Have like a dashboard area, because we're looking at the trades together, and then maybe I take an entry during London or something like that, where they're able to follow the pairs that I'm trading and the setups that I took. Because during the live sessions together, whether they're watching it live or on the replay, they're able to go ahead and see what's developing. They know what trades that I'm getting into, but during those hours that we're not on the live stream together, it will just give people a place where they could go and have all the information we use put together, organized in one spot, one space. So I like the setup here developing on the Australian dollar, US dollar. To watching this to see, you could also see right here, right? Price right now is holding this support area. And if it breaks down, you're breaking through a support and through the trend line. You have this nice bear flag developing. This could be a nice opportunity, but not yet. It could stay within this little bear flag, this little channel, and it could come up here. This is a nicer entry too. If the price does rise up over here, you have this resistance along with this resistance. If price regains this level, the true trend turns positive, and we're definitely looking for longs. That would be only if and when the true trend will be turning positive, and we'll have broken this double resistance here. We'll be looking for longs. There'll be some nice opportunity there as well. So I think that would be kind of neat also too, to also have like in this area, like right now, for example, we're in a bunch of trades. Those trades everyone's aware of, but pairs that we're really watching, such as this right now, for the next possible, for a short entry, to have just the area listing the potential pairs in play, and then also with a link to the live stream where that's discussed. I don't know if that's possible to prepare and do. That might be take a little bit too much time, but if that is, that would be really helpful for everyone. I like that idea. Seeing the US dollar, Canadian dollar trading up, oversold in an uptrend, coming off this resistance. So that's an area to watch for a possible reversal. The other thing I'm noticing now is I'm seeing all other currency pairs, whether it's the euro, the pound, they seem to be now, the US dollar is trading weaker in the last couple of hours versus them, but stronger than the Canadian dollar. So sometimes overbought and oversold could stay that way, for an extended period of time. It was Alan Greenspan who said back in 2000, I don't know if it was 1 or 2003, that markets can remain irrational longer than investors can remain solvent. And that's how oversold and overbought work. Sometimes, right, when price gets overbought and oversold, it's going to remain so for a long time. So it is even possible, right? It is possible to get a breakout. I'm waiting until we get above this resistance up here. I will not look for a long on this pair. I'm looking for sells if we get any type of reversal. And that wasn't actually even the smart play, right? You see, ever since down here, we had the Bank of Canada meet, and since then, this has been a huge reverse trend. We're in a downtrend, and this has been a nice move up, a nice bull move up. I didn't get to take part in it. I looked at this earlier today in the live stream right here. We looked at on Friday, this trend line broke down, and then we put in this support line right here. I was looking for price if it got below it to start looking for shorts, but I made a mistake, right? I should have been, the true trend was up. We had the entry CCI pull back at a support line. That's a great opportunity to take, because even if it doesn't work out, my risk is so well defined and capped that it doesn't matter. I'll take those. That's a 1 to 3 risk to reward. That I dropped the ball on that trade. This was a beautiful trade that I missed. And I love reassessing the trades that I miss, because they're the most important ones to learn from. And you see right now we're taking the adverse trades on the euro US dollar, where price is trading at resistance. Price is trading up near this resistance and is reversing off it. Same thing on gold. Gold is trading at this resistance and coming off. We're taking that trade with the trend down and the entry CCI pullback. This was the adverse right here on the long side. That was the same trade setup we're taking on the euro US dollar and the gold, and that I didn't take here, and that was a mistake. Sure has. Trade uncertainty has been the major theme in the economy, and the currency markets are so tied right now to what's going on between the US and China. And every time that progress is made, you see risk on. And then every time, we run into any type of obstacle or setback, you see huge risk off. Vice versa, excuse me. All right, I don't see anything else developing today before the major event, the FOMC. This is what I'm watching here. I'm watching the Australian dollar, US dollar. I'm watching for a possible short. It's tricky. Always tricky, isn't it? It's tricky because we do have that in a few hours, the FOMC. The market could definitely react off that. It could be a non-event. It could definitely be a non-event, or the market could really react off it. How do you trade this? I'm looking here for this a price bar closing below this trend line. But the problem is that, especially triggering on the FOMC, if the US dollar, let's say that it started strengthening and you broke out, right? I can miss the whole breakdown. So what do I do? I mean, clearly the entry was all the way up here with the entry CCI pulled back against the trend at the upper resistance of this bear flag, and then when price made the lower low, right? So that's at 0.6818, right? If before the FOMC we trade back up towards that level, I will then enter a short trade. It's not too far away. That's only about 5 pips away. That could definitely happen. And as far as my stop loss, right? I don't want it way up there. No, I'm not going to do anything yet. I'm going to wait and see what else happens with this trade. I'm not taking anything yet. It's not lining up. I have the FOMC coming up, and I'm in a bunch of positions already right now. So I'm just going to stand aside here and continue watching it. All right, I'm going to call it a session. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to prepare that tutorial right now on setting up those 8-hour charts for a MetaTrader 4. We do have, obviously, a lot will change probably this afternoon after FOMC. If things are really active, I will jump on a live stream, but more likely I will be commenting on the replay here so that it's all relevant. And I'll be updating anything new that's happening, especially if I do exit or move any of my stop losses on current trades, or if I were to, for example, to find an entry into this Australian dollar US dollar trade, I would then alert us and let everyone know. The only way that I see entering this now would be if price came up here again and tested this upper resistance and this resistance of this trend line over here, and as it was resuming downwards, I would take the entry. So I don't perceive that happening anytime before tomorrow's New York session. I won't take a straight breakdown of this bull flag here, even though it's beautiful. What I will do is review it again tomorrow and probably say, well, the entry was up here and that's where I should have entered. But I don't know. That's it for today. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Have a great day, everyone. Yeah, absolutely. I probably should have got that out all to you a couple of weeks ago, maybe. It's necessary. And MetaTrader 4 is obviously the workhorse, and we'll get you set up on that for sure. So once again, I thank you all for being there. I really enjoyed it. I really look forward now in the mornings to these live sessions. It's a lot more fun sharing it with you. It's a lot more fun working out my plans, articulating them. It really is a huge benefit for myself. And I could tell the value it adds, and that people appreciate it, and that really I like that. So I'll talk to you later. Have a great day, everyone.